It's January 2023, and in this video, I'll give you an overview of the modern CMS, or content management systems, as used by large global brands. In this video, I'll cover four main topics. Firstly, how large global brands use content management systems. Second, what features and functions a modern CMS has that help large global brands to reach their goals. Third, who the market-leading CMS vendors are and some of their strengths and weaknesses. And fourth, a little bit about how big brands select the right CMS. Ready? Let's go. So how do large global brands use a CMS to support their businesses? Well, the first thing to note here is that big brands won't be using a CMS on its own. They'll be using it as part of a larger technology ecosystem or platform, sometimes referred to as their DXP, Digital Experience Platform, or their MarTech stack. Smaller brands might be able to work with a standalone CMS and a small team helping to create and update content, but large global brands need a content management system that provides content on more channels than just their websites and integrates with other technology capabilities like their data, personalization, outbound marketing, and other DXP sub-platforms, which I'll talk about in other videos. This integrated requirement for CMSs is now so pronounced for large brands that some analysts, Gartner for example, no longer review CMSs in isolation, and Gartner had a CMS Magic Quadrant for around 20 years. It's not the death of the enterprise CMS though, just an acknowledgement that large brands need CMS capability as part of a broader set of capabilities. So what else should the CMS piece provide? Global brands have large teams with people all around the world who need to be able to create, edit, and publish content, as in text, images, and videos, to multiple channels. These teams need to be able to easily store and find this content and work in different languages to suit the needs of their region or country. This content needs to be available to other channels other than the website, so mobile, voice assistants, marketplaces and channel partners, smart displays in stores, stadiums, hospitals, etc. And so it requires technical resources to design and develop the back-end architecture of the CMS, while marketers and creative resources concentrate on the design and presentation of the front end. Content planning, creation and management are largely independent of the technical development and channel publishing workflows, so a strong enterprise CMS will help brands to manage the CMS-centric processes or easily integrate with a system which performs all of the work, design, content publishing and technical work management, all in one place. Brands need the CMS to connect easily with all of these other systems and platforms and ideally use AI to suggest good ideas to users to help automate content, development, management, publishing, etc. So in short, big companies need a CMS which simplifies the complex process of making and managing their global brands both creatively and technically in many languages all around the world. Before we get into technical features and functions, there are a few intangibles which large brands need around a CMS, or the DXP it's part of, to be successful. Firstly, it needs a good partner ecosystem. Even the biggest brands are unlikely to be able to build all of the capability they need in-house, so they need the help of agencies, consultancies, systems integrators, and other services partners to be able to develop and execute the best strategies to be successful. As well as these vendors having a good partner ecosystem, they should also have a thriving and engaged developer community. Enterprise CMSs have as much going on with the technical back-end as they do at the creative front-end. So if technical resources are in short supply or are prohibitively expensive, it drives up both costs and risks. Another important consideration is the support and product management capability of the CMS vendor. Vendors should be adding new features and capabilities to the CMS platform and improving and updating existing ones on a regular basis. Otherwise, brands are buying into technology which becomes outdated and limiting quite quickly. Technical innovation means that new ways of working need to be adopted periodically. So support from the vendor to their clients and to the partner ecosystem is critical. Otherwise, brands won't be able to adopt the latest capabilities and ways of working quickly enough. In terms of core technology features and functions, here are the key capabilities a modern CMS should have. Firstly, user management. The ability to create and manage user accounts, assign roles and permissions to those accounts. Without this, global teams can't effectively manage the work of designing and developing new experiences for their customers. This leads us to content creation and editing. All of these users should have access to a user-friendly interface for creating, editing, and publishing content, such as text, images, and videos. Without this, client teams will struggle to use the CMS effectively, which leads to lower adoption, higher costs, and a poor online experience for customers of these big brands. Third, media management. So the ability to upload, store, and manage multimedia files such as images and videos. This starts to overlap with DAM, or Digital Asset Management, platform capability. And as the volume of content increases, then the strength of the business case for a specialized DAM platform increases too. But digital experience is nothing without content, so you have to be able to easily upload it, find it, and make it available, and that requires good search and organization functions as well. Fourth, template management. Templates allow new pages, screens, etc. to be created quickly. The ability to create and manage templates for consistent design and layout is therefore key. Small brands expect a CMS to come with a choice of templates out of the box, but large brands need to be able to design and develop and customize their own. Fifth, workflow management. New content, new pages, new journeys need to be reviewed, usually by more than one person, before they go live. Because there's all kinds of standards the business needs to meet, from brand and marketing expectations through regulatory compliance expectations. So like with a DAM, a dedicated work management solution is needed by many large brands in order to manage this, particularly if they're operating globally. A good CMS will at least include a CMS-specific workflow management capability. 6, multilingual support, so the ability to create and manage content in multiple languages. This may or may not include native translation capabilities. Usually these are managed by a third-party integration, but users in different regions need to be able to drive the CMS in their own language and with local or regional conventions in mind. 7, version control, the ability to track changes to content and roll back to previous versions. So sometimes a change is only intended to be temporary. Sometimes we need to hit the undo button. Sometimes we need to manage different versions for different regions or other reasons. Version control helps marketers to keep track of who did what and when. 8, analytics, the ability to track and analyze website traffic and user engagement, although much of this is often managed by separate data and web analytics platforms. And of course, SEO optimization, so the ability to optimize content on pages and the overall site so it can be more easily found by search engines. Finally, from a more technical perspective, another 3 points. The first being integration, the ability to integrate with other tools and platforms, such as marketing automation, e-commerce, data, social media, etc. This is usually via APIs and possibly a dedicated API management solution if it's a multi-vendor DXP. And this is where the conversation will turn to headless, composable architectures, microservices, and all that fun stuff. Mac Alliance's vendors do great stuff here, but this is a whole much more technical area of discussion in itself. Second, scalability, the ability to handle large amounts of content and users as the website grows. Third-party content delivery networks and multi-tenant cloud solutions also help large brands to manage this requirement. And third, and the last technical aspect which I'll highlight here, is security and privacy. The ability to protect user data and content from unauthorized access, critical from a user satisfaction point of view, and also from a local compliance point of view, as brands these days collect, manage and use more and more user data. The relative importance of these requirements will vary from brand to brand, based on their needs, their marketing strategy and their industry, but this covers the key capabilities that most global brands will have need of from their CMS. Next, let's look at a few of the biggest vendors in the CMS market. Even though there are many CMS vendors, and very large numbers of websites are built using CMS software which doesn't feature in the following list, I'm thinking WordPress, Wix, Weebly, Joomla, etc. I'm focusing here on the vendors generally recognized as being able to cater to global brands with enterprise-grade technology and the most support for the complex list of requirements I just listed. If you want to look at a longer list of CMS vendors, then there are some great resources out there. But if you can't find anything, then drop me a line and I can point you in the right direction. First, let's talk about Adobe. Adobe are generally considered to be the market leader for CMS, with Adobe Experience Manager, or AEM, as it's usually known. AEM, which started life as a CMS called Communicate by Day Software, is a well-established Java-based CMS platform with strong personalization and workflow capabilities. It also has a very strong DAM product, and even more advanced workflow management capabilities are becoming available through the recent acquisition of Workfront. AEM is part of Adobe's Experience Cloud, DXP, and caters best to large enterprise use cases for global brands. Household names brands from a range of industry verticals use AEM, and it has a very active developer community as a result. AEM has not been as strong in its headless capabilities, although the launch of AEM Franklin looks likely to add a different dimension to the possibilities for developing fast and responsive websites. If you need help evaluating AEM for your business, then please get in touch and we can see if it's right for your brand. Second, Sitecore. Sitecore have refactored their entire DXP stack in the last few years and have grown their company by about a third with this improved product and renewed focus on their go-to-market and customer success. They're still not considered to be a fully headless CMS solution, but have great DAM and CMS capabilities and a very large developer ecosystem. Sitecore also offers marketing automation and data platform capabilities as part of its DXP, making it another good choice for global brands. Third, Acquia. Acquia have a very large and active ecosystem, being an open source DXP, and the CMS is based on Drupal, which is also open source. It's built for composable and headless architectures and is highly extensible because of its open source foundations. Acquia also have additional DXP platform capabilities in marketing automation, in data, and in personalization. And although it's considered to be weaker for planning and workflow capabilities, it's a solid choice and a popular choice for many global brands. I could talk in much more detail about just these three CMS vendors and go into similar detail about DXP vendors with a strong CMS that I've worked with, like Bloomreach, Coremedia, Optimizely, or the excellent headless CMS solutions of Amplience, Contentful, Content Stack, and many others. There are plenty of resources out there to help you research these CMS solutions, but please get in touch if you'd like some help in identifying your requirements, doing your research, or making connections. For now, let's finish by looking at how global brands figure out which is the right CMS for them. Because of the variety of CMS technology solutions on the market, the need to integrate these into an overall digital experience platform architecture, and the additional complexity of finding the best models to run and operate these systems successfully once they're in place, you might wonder how global brands figure out the right mix of solutions or vendors. One mistake brands make is to go straight into a product evaluation without really considering what they'll be using for and what skills they have in-house or the partners they're already working with to help them. Whilst there are better and worse product solutions out there, it's a bit like when you're trying to choose the right vehicle. The driver and the journey make a world of difference. For example, a motorbike and a sports car are both great vehicles, great fun, and they both have an engine, a gearbox, seats, steering, and other features in common. But if your mission is to take your family of 5 camping for a weekend, then they're both terrible choices. An SUV is probably going to work much better for you. And so it is with CMS and DXP choices. First, get really clear on the mission, as in, what's your business and marketing strategy? Then, on who's going to be driving, as in, what skills do you have in-house and from partners, and then start talking with vendors to understand which one has the product, ecosystem, support and culture that's going to work best for you and your organization. Similarly, don't be fooled into thinking that an RFP with spreadsheets of scoring grids is a particularly safe or scientific approach. I've worked with many large brands who've spent months writing the RFP and then many months more arguing over the scoring of RFP criteria, only to realize eventually that the scores are largely opinion, not objective data, and that the driver or drivers are often more critical than their final choice of car or vehicle. The brands who are most successful start by being very clear on their marketing strategy, how they need to measure success, and who in the brand has management oversight of making that vision a reality. They then review the skills they have and start to flesh out their requirements by talking to different vendors to get a feel not just for the product fit, but also for the cultural alignment of the brand and the vendor and the partners currently in the mix. This helps to shortlist some of the vendors so that the conversation can move to finding other brands that those vendors have worked with who have similar use cases or problems and have successfully used that vendor's CMS solutions to do well, even if they're in slightly different industries. Quite often, then a more procurement-led process follows, and that can help get the best deal for the brand once a thorough understanding of the end-to-end business case with software and implement run operate costs is understood. Outcome-based pricing can often be negotiated using those desired outcomes once they're clearly known to everybody. Now, this isn't easy, but like most things in life, the best results come from the hard work that goes into getting them. If you need help, you can always get in touch. Thanks for listening, and please look out for my other videos on getting the most from your advertising and marketing technology. I'm Adrian Whitehouse from dtxlr8r.